Coach, just talk about the disappointment of that one.
Yeah, we didn't get off the greatest start early and just, kind of feeling our way through it and kind of got a score out for the half and came out and still kind of feeling our way through it, then kind of battled back here in the fourth quarter and driving down with a chance to win. I think anytime you're in a ball game, you have a chance to go win at the end of the game. That's where you want to be. Obviously we've got to execute, stick in the end zone and give ourselves that opportunity. But, I thought our kids fought to the end. We got a lot of stuff to clean up. You obviously always do after game one. But shout out to Coach, hats off to Coach Doran and to his football team. I thought they did some good things, and honestly, they executed better than we did tonight, and that's the difference in the game.
You guys really struggled to run the ball in this game. What was the difference in the second half? You were able to open up the pass and started moving the ball a lot better.
Yeah, I thought we finally moved the chains a little bit. They were the first 4 times we had the football, we were 3 and out, and that makes a big difference. Their defense doesn't get tired. They're fresh. They can hone in, and we never got ahead of the sticks. We were always behind the sticks there early. And I think the first half time of possession was 20 minutes to their team, 10 minutes to our team. And you got to do a better job with that and then start to run the football. It starts up front, so we obviously got to go back to work there.
Talk about the fourth down play a little bit.
Yeah, we had a little wide flat. They had cover 0, trying to pick the man player for DeCerio, and it kind of got eat out of bounds there, and they actually called Anthony on a pick as well, which is behind the line of scrimmage, so it shouldn't have been anyways. But that was just an opportunity to move the sticks and keep on going at it. And if we scored, we'd already talked on the headsets. We'd go for 2 there and go for the win. I mean, you're on the road in a hostile environment and a great game, and I think that's an opportunity to go win a game right there.
Guys like DeCerio and Brock Spalding really emerged in this game. What can you say about some of the new weapons that you have to work with?
Yeah, I don't know about new weapons, but they're certainly football players. I mean, Brock Spalding is a football player, and he always has been. I've been trying to get him to play defense for years, but he's a heck of a receiver, a heck of a young man, and did a great job catching the ball tonight.
Coach, you mentioned the slow start. I know it's easy for a team to kind of dig a hole and kind of get in their heads a little bit. What'd you say to the guys, in order to have a chance there in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think we let the crowd maybe affect us a little bit. When we go up to Annapolis, 8 months ago, our crowd was bringing the energy, and we didn't do a great job of that early in the game, and we got to do a better job of that. And some of that comes with success and moving the sticks. When you're getting 3 and out. You kind of pause a little bit, but we got to do a better job playing ahead of the sticks. We missed some blocks on the perimeter. That was probably the biggest area that got us behind the sticks on the offensive side of the ball is the blocking on the perimeter. We got to do a better job there.
Self-inflicted, y'all get momentum, bad snap, false start. Those mistakes seem to add up.
Yeah, those are some obviously game one things, but you don't want it to happen against a good football team or you get your tail beat like you did tonight. But we got to get those things cleaned up. The snap over the head, and then just some of the penalties defensively. The lay hit on the quarterback, I guess, and then the PI in the end zone cost you points. We got a third down here. It's 3-0. We got a third down here, and all, he runs the ball. We just got to be smarter and do a better job of there and hold them to a field goal and 6-0. And field goals won't get you beat. Touchdowns will, and obviously touchdowns got to beat tonight.
What's the biggest lesson or takeaway that is going to help you propel in the future?
I think it's going against the opponent. It's just game one. Like when you go against yourself, you don't know exactly where you're at or what you got to improve on, or you get a pretty good feel for it. But you go play a 60-minute ball game against a good opponent, and in an atmosphere like this, you find out exactly where you are. And unfortunately came up on the wrong side of it, side I don't want to be on. But we got to improve from here. I think the biggest improvement a football team usually makes is after the first loss or after the first game, and it both happened tonight. So we got to get back at it. I told the guys, and I would have said this regardless of how the game went. It's just one game, and that one game's not going to define our season. Win or lose, you got to get over it pretty quick. You got to get on to the next one, and to work on Campbell. And that's going to be the biggest game of the year because it's the next game of the year.
Coach, it kind of felt like Caden missed some throws early. Just how'd you see him kind of bounce back in that second half?
Yeah, Caden's resilient. I mean, he's such a leader. I think he can, he'll be the hardest critic on himself probably. But he's playing well. I think he's going to even play better this year. And we haven't seen the best from Caden Hauser yet. He'll get better each and every week. And out wide, we got to do a better job helping him out a little bit too.
Were you surprised at how difficult it was to run the ball?
In the bowl game, I think we rushed for a pretty good amount, and they got some looks in the bowl game that just kind of gave you some third down looks that we were able to run the football against, and obviously the big run at the end of the game there, and pop some other ones in there too. But they're pretty sound tonight. Obviously Coach Elliott did a great job with the defense and bring some new pieces in there and really sound. And some of that too is just when they go 3 and out, we get behind the sticks and we don't get them tired. and they can be fresh, then they can get their third down package in. Everything's plays into their hand rather than, hey, us having an advantage.
Coach, I know you mentioned earlier in the week that this game is a huge win just for the state of North Carolina. But just think about the environment.
Yeah, I mean, you got 50-something thousand plus fans here, and what a great rivalry game for our fans. NC State, shout out to Pirate Nation for showing up. Thought they were loud. Everybody stay here to the end. And, we talked about the revenue earlier in the week, stays in the state of North Carolina. I think if NC State would have had La Tech or NIU in here today, probably not a packed house. But I think it's really good for our state. Hopefully our legislators pick up on that and hope to keep these games in state and keep these rivalries going. And, even though we came up on the bottom end of it, you would love to play these games every year for sure.